Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Maxwell, and welcome back to a podcast. I know it's been a while since I did a podcast. Obviously, COVID has everybody really staying at home, and I haven't been able to bring guests into my studio. So I said, you know what? Let's bring it back. Let's start doing some podcasts with people virtually, and as soon as COVID is gone, we'll bring him back inside the studio. So today with me, a guy that probably doesn't need any introduction, coming out of Phoenix, Arizona, Steve Trang. Steve, how you been, brother?
Man, I've been amazing. Life has been good for us personally. How about you?
It's been going good. You know, believe it or not, we've shut our office down for a little while. Everybody knows, and then we came back and we've got safety measures in place. But the last time I seen you, or not seen you, but the last time we've been able to have a conversation back and forth, other than like the online mastermind group we're in, is it was the Closers Olympics.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, and don't take this the wrong way. I was surprised on how good you were on the phone. Not in a oh, I thought you were bad, but I liked the way, because I actually took some of the videos from the Closer Olympics, and I showed it to my sales team, and I said, you see how you handle objections, you see how you diffuse a person. So tell me, I know you do a lot of sales training and stuff, as far as like receive a lot of sales. Tell us kind of your method when you're on the phone. For people that haven't seen, they need to go see that, but tell us kind of like your strategy.
You know, for a lot of the stuff where the diffusing, which is happening a lot, you need to, because you're talking to people like everyone else is calling the same guy. One of the things to diffuse is just a lot of labeling. You know, Chris Voss talks about it and Never Split the Difference. Mm-hmm. And the way I teach it in our sales training is like, you remember, not when you were a kid maybe, but you know, you got like nieces and nephews, or you see other friends with kids, and like the 2-year-old will fall down and mom will kiss the boo-boo, and now everything's okay.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine, right? Labeling. Hey Max, I bet you're upset. You got a lot of people calling you.
I remember that one. You did say something like that.
I'm just kissing the boo-boo and everything's okay now. And that's all it is. It's just a grown-up version of kissing the boo-boo.
That's a good analogy. You touched on something that's pretty cool, or something that, you know, I've been saying. I say now these days, with all the software and the technology that has been introduced into wholesaling over just the last 4 years, and really 3, has changed the playing field and almost made it level to the guy that has an office, you know, with 50 people, to the single entrepreneur in his basement trying to get it done. I think the playing field is level now. And would you agree that, you know, now it comes down to everybody has the same data, everybody has the same phone numbers, and now it comes down to you need to sharpen your skills in order to get to that next level?
Well, not only would I agree, I would say it's your fault. So
it's my fault, right?
Right? Because you were one of the first guys to push skip tracing. You were one of the first guys talking about RVMs, you know? So yeah, the level field has been, the playing field has been labeled, and I think that's a great thing. I think that's an amazing thing, right? Because that's happened, you know, before, you know, the guys with the money could control everything. And now anybody can do this, right? Like, you're competing against 18-year-olds living with their moms, right? And I think that's fantastic, because the entrepreneurship opportunities today are way more prevalent because, you know, guys like you, that just other people, that opportunity wasn't there 5 years ago. So like, I remember when I was competing against Sean Terry, you know, in Phoenix, 2012, 2013, I got deals not because I was the best, not because I was even good. I got deals just because I was number 2, right? I'm Avis. Sean Terry's Hertz, right? He's the king.
Yeah.
I'm number 2. Like, you know, if you didn't like him, great, go with me. And that's what works.
Just naturally at that point in time, you're just going to get deals because Sean Terry and his crew couldn't handle everything, and you're just going to be there. Maybe you make the phone call first.
Yeah, right. I'll get the rest. But today, with everyone's got, like you said, everyone's got that same list, same data, same skip tracing.
It's so easy now. Do you remember what it was like to skip trace 1,000 people 4 or 5 years ago?
I couldn't skip trace 4 or 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Right? I didn't know about. I wasn't in these masterminds. All I did was, man, if they clicked on my website and gave me their info, game is on.
Yep.
That was it. But there was a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting.
and it was very expensive back then. I remember when I started, even just 4 years ago, this coming September, I used to pay anywhere between 90 cents to $1.15 for the right information.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted premier level data, you were paying somewhere between 90 and $1.15 per name. So reality is you never skip traced 10,000, 100,000 batch.
It wouldn't make any financial sense. I remember I started a debt collection company.
Yep, you had to find go arounds.
Yes, because as a broker or as a wholesaler, they're not going to sell you that data, but you tell them either you had to be a private investigator or a debt collector. So I applied as a debt collector and I had to get audited. Like they sent like a third party. So I took one of my offices, I put a big placard on it.
Yeah, the same way I was introduced to TLO as a licensed bondsman. I was money hunter.
So that's awesome.
So that's how I knew about data prior to getting into wholesale, and I knew what it was like. You brought up an interesting point. You talk about being a broker. You're one of the few in this business that are actually a licensed broker and have your own shop. Mm-hmm. What is that like? And because people ask, do I need to go get my license to be a wholesaler? Blah, blah, blah. The answer in most places, the general answer is no. Do you need it? No. But you are one and you have a brokerage. Tell me a little bit about your brokerage.
Yeah, so absolutely you do not need a license. I just think you're probably going to will at some point in the next 5-10 years, But, we got a brokerage. We got 100 some agents, all the wholesalers that are wholesaling, that are real in Phoenix are with their license with us. We got Keegley, Brent Daniels, the batch guys, right? Like they're all with us. And I kind of fell into it because, I got into wholesaling on accident. Well, I started my brokerage. I wasn't intending to wholesale, but man, wholesaling is a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more fulfilling. It's a lot more profitable. So there's a lot of good reasons to wholesale versus doing the traditional thing. But yeah, I think that it's good to have more options. So you got the creative financing options, which is great. I think another option is listing because you have how many people you talk to says, I want retail. Mm-hmm. Why not make money off those? Why not use that to just supplement your income? Don't even take the listing. Hand it off to a licensed realtor if you're licensed. Collect 25%. That's going to pay for your marketing. Now you're way more profitable and you get, I like to call it like Christmas money because you don't know when it's going to close.
Exactly.
And then a check shows up and it's great.
So you actually house a lot of wholesalers in your shop and you teach them ethics and the ethical way of doing business.
Oh my God. Ethics is so important to me. If you are unethical, you're treating people poorly, I cannot be associated with you. I haven't said this publicly. I severed an agent for saying ignorant stuff. Once like that whole George Floyd thing went down. Yeah. Like he was posting some stuff. It's like, A, I appreciate that you're honest. But B, I can't believe that you believe that in 2020.
Yeah, you got to go.
So I severed them. So like the ethics is really important. You gotta have a code. And I'm not saying you can't buy a house deep, right? I'm not saying that because you're a solutions provider.
Correct.
But you can't lie to them and say your house is worth 150 when it's worth 220.
You can't manipulate them, right? Because they're looking at you as some over to the expert. Just present them with all the options they have. And then if you're the best option, then they're going to go with you.
Right. And if you're licensed, you can't actually give the best options, right? Mm-hmm. Here's more money. Here's a cash offer. Which do you prefer?
Before, because, I was a licensed broker and I had my own brokerage at 21.
Really?
I think a lot of people missed that. Yeah. So when I got out of the military, the first thing I
knew you were licensed.
Yeah. I had my own brokerage, Infinity Property Management and Investment. But, one thing that I noticed as I got into wholesaling, maybe a couple of years ago, I realized that wholesaling has been around for a long time. And I'll tell you why, is because when I used to see agents say, I will sell your house or buy it for cash. And I was like, how is that possible? As an agent, I would see people do that, right? And now I understand what they meant by buy it cash. That means they're going to buy it cash at a discounted price and be able to pass that to somebody else.
That's how I fell into wholesaling.
There you go. So, and then I see marketing now, it's a common thing where there's a big firm, I forget, he was with the Remax or something like that. I see the billboards all the time. And he even pushes that and he has a whole wholesaling brokerage. Now let me ask you a question. As an entrepreneur, I'm just curious, do you see that new brokerages and future brokerages going that way?
Oh, I see it a lot. I mean, KW partnered up with OfferPad. Mm-hmm. EXP's got the cash offer option. I can't remember what they call it, but everyone's offering that. Because you'd be stupid to ignore what's out there, right?
Yeah.
The great thing is a lot of these guys, a lot of the brokerages are offering it. They're going after different people than you and I are going after.
Correct.
Right? We're going after like someone that's got distress, someone that needs to sell, whatever. They're going after someone who has a move-in ready home and presenting a cash offer. For most of those people, the cash offer is a waste of time. It's just there to like, here, look, I didn't come empty-handed.
Correct.
But when you and I go, like, here's a cash offer, here's what we can do. It's like, that's not enough. It's like, okay, well, we can list it. But the cash offer makes sense for the people that you and I talk to.
Correct.
The cash offer doesn't make sense if you're talking to Keller Williams Remax.
So let me ask your broker side of the brain.
Yeah.
And your entrepreneur side of the brain. Where do you see agents playing a role in real estate in 10 years?
I think they're going to be gone. I've said this 2 years ago that I think we only have 5 good years left, and I still believe we have 3 good years left.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to be a luxury, kind of like a travel agent, because travel agents still exist for people with money.
Correct.
But everyone else goes to kayak or orbits, right?
Yep.
So I think you're going to have like attorneys review documents, and that's it. Because I mean, what the values that agents provide is really knowledge. And that knowledge is becoming less and less appreciated. I think valuable. I see it a lot. Like, buyers get frustrated because they work with a crappy agent, and they don't know it's a crappy agent until it's too late, right? When the loan is getting denied or taking too long, or you didn't ask for the plumbing or the sewer line to get inspected in the right city. Because in Phoenix, in the historic home, you have to inspect the sewer line every time. But you deal with a new agent, they don't know about that. Yep. You move in, and 4 months later, hey, the plumbing doesn't work, what happened? So I think the agents are important, but I think the perceived value is pretty much going away.
Yeah, and I was listening to Sirius XM or something like that, and I listened to some commercial, and basically the gist of him saying is, now these days people are all on the internet. Everybody's on the internet. And now your realtor comes to you and wants to sell your house. You want to charge them 6%, and they're just going to list it on the MLS when that was a viable option back then. Why are they not marketing to blank online and on? So it's the writing is on the wall for sure. What I think happened, I've been saying this for a while as well, just like you.
Yeah. And
I was saying that Zillow, before they got greedy and wanted to be competitors with OfferPad and all these other guys, that they were basically having realtors or agents pay them money to find out, to do research and development, essentially, to
fund all their R&D.
Yeah, to all their R&D, to essentially eliminate them from the ecosystem of real estate. And with the, the 1% listing, 2% listing, or whatever that stuff is. And then I think they kind of pivoted when they was like, oh no, let's get Zillow cash offers. And then they maybe are kind of pivoting back and saying, well, you know what, that's okay, but I don't really, that's my theory as an entrepreneur.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we knew we were funding our competition. And you can say it all you want, but if you're like 5% of the people saying it, doesn't mean squat. You need like everyone on board. Yeah. And everyone wants the easy money, which I understand because we got to eat, right? Yeah. So, but if you have 95% of the population like, we're funding the competition, but we have to. What else are we going to do? Well, this is what happens.
Could you imagine 10 years ago as an agent that you created your own website, you did all the SEO stuff now, and now you're sitting golden if you did that, because
that was me. That's why I hate Zillow.
Exactly. So, I tell that to all my, there's these, I can go into this a lot, but it's marketing, and people have got to understand, don't pay for these services that you don't own, because you're never going to own that IP. You're never going to own that position that they hold on Google. And you become a slave to what they can give you. Kind of back to where we were talking about sharpening your skills. You obviously did real well in the Closer Olympics. I was surprised. Really just because I feel like I know I'm pretty damn good on the phone.
I could tell by your commentary.
Yeah. Some people don't know how to jab, when to laugh, when to play, when to be serious, when to give, when to take, when to admit defeat, when to overpower the person. Those are all the things that come in when you're on the phone and you're doing negotiation. What has helped you get to the point where you are now, where you have a successful brokerage, you're successful in the guru land of Phoenix, you're out there? What has helped you get to this point?
It's just ongoing personal development. And I know you believe in the same thing, right? I'm trying to get better every single day. And, part of it is that I'll never be good enough. Like, I always want to get better. I'm satisfied, but I'm never content, right?
Good analogy.
Right. And so for me, I'm always wanting to get better, and I'm always looking for that next edge because, one of the expressions I love is that only the paranoid survive. And so it's just like what was it? No fear t-shirts, right? Like bottom of the ninth, whatever. Like there's always someone out practicing, trying to beat me.
Every day.
And so if I'm not working on me, trying to be the best version of me, then I'm going to be obsolete. Someone's going to pass me. I'm going to be irrelevant, and I can't have that.
And I've always seen you talk about, I spend a lot of time with some of the best sales trainers in the world. And you religiously go to these things and you hit it over and over and over again. Yeah. Tell us about why that's important, as like you just talked about. Why is it important to keep investing, developing yourself?
Because I have a responsibility to everyone that's put their faith in me, right? I've got over 100 agents, I think we're at 120, right? Over 120 agents in my brokerage, right? We're trying to get to at least 1% market share. We're like 0.78%. Like one in every 130 homes sold in Phoenix sold by my brokerage, right?
Wow.
So I have a responsibility to them. I have a responsibility to my family. I got my business partner, Max Jimenez, responsible for him and his family. I got my acquisition guys. I got all these people that rely on me, and I think I'm doing a disservice if I'm taking it easy, right? Like they put their faith in me. I can't take it easy. I can't take my foot off the gas. And once I do, they're gonna pass me. And that's just reality. Yep.
And it could be that 18-year-old kid that's in his basement that you're talking about that has the same stream we have, that has the same data we have, whatever it is. Man, that's definitely interesting. And I want people listening to be able to understand that when we say invest in yourself, you got to spend a lot of time. And I think that there's obviously quotes going around on Instagram, but the best investment you can make is into yourself.
100%. There's no better ROI.
It's 10x, it's 20, it's 100x, whatever you want it to be, it could be that X. And that's why it's important. You've recently started doing, well, not recently, but you have something now you're putting out that's talking about, you're helping people get to that next level because you've seen it, right? All of us are on a level field. What are you going to do to separate yourself? So talk about what you've created to help people get to that level.
Sure. Well, first it all started at We Live 19. So thank you again for putting me on that platform.
Absolutely.
And so I took basically what I've learned and I just kind of put it into like an hour PowerPoint, And the feedback I got from that was so overwhelming. I was really surprised, like, okay, I'm really onto something, like people really need this. So I've been doing it quietly, not promoting, really lousy self-promoter. But the feedback I've gotten from the people that have gone through it has been overwhelming. We got one guy who just started working with us, and I think he's put 4 in escrow in like the month and a half we worked together. He's got 60,000 coming in. And this is someone that he had done a deal with his parents and it was a flip that went wrong, like bad wrong, right? And he owes him over 300,000, And so for him, it was really important to pay him back. And as fast as possible, a year and a half was the plan. And we're on our way there. And so the reason why I think this is so valuable is, again, you said the playing field has been leveled. You've got to sound different. And the only way to sound different really is to sound different. And that's what we use, what we focus on. A lot of it is just, it's so counterintuitive. Like the stuff that we say, even when I first heard it from my coach, I still remember in training, he's like, the way he'll open some conversations, like, hey, Max, we have a problem. And he's just quiet. And you're like, well, what's the problem? Let's fix this. So the first few times I heard him say this, I could never say that to anybody.
Yeah.
And now I say it all the time.
And particularly, let's talk about that particular opening statement. What does that do? What does that do to the person you're saying that to?
Well, they're like, well, what's going on? It's terrible. So, we don't do a lot of price reductions. I think we've done 2, right? Ever. But if it's a really bad report and things are really bad, we're going to ask for a price reduction. We're going to cancel, So we have a problem. So if I say, hey, Max, I just want to let you know, we did the inspection, the contractor came back, we're going to need a $10,000 price reduction. Your initial response is like, you investors are all the same. My daughter told me you were going to do this. And now you're going to try to beat me up and take advantage of me, right? That's the response, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But if I say, hey, Max, we did that inspection, and I gotta tell you, we have a problem. And you're like now you're ready for like the worst case. Oh, what is going on? I said, and we call this an emotional anchor, right? And we say, well, we got the bid back, and it's a lot more than we anticipated, way more. So we're gonna have to cancel. Now, what's Max want to do? Max is like, no, don't cancel. Like, I need this money. Like, what do we have to do to keep this together? Mm-hmm. And now I'll tell you, like, I don't know if you want to do. I feel embarrassed to even ask you for what we're gonna need. I'm like, look, I want to get this done. What do we need? He's like, I don't know if we can drop it $10,000. I think maybe we can keep this together. And now you're like, okay, let's do it. But it's the same concept. Either way, I was asking for a $10,000 price reduction.
Yep.
But your mood is completely different.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And it's people just need to understand how you phrase the question, how you go. You don't have to go direct line to the point A to B. Yeah. It's okay to jump around just to get the same outcome, because it's about how you approach the person. It's about how you make them feel. It's not, oh, I need a $10,000 reduction. Hey, we're going to have to cancel the contract because it's just worse than we thought it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, well, what are we going to, what can we do?
Right. And now we're working together, because we're not on the other side of the table. We're on the same side of the table. And that's the imagery everyone should have when they're working with somebody. Like, let's work together.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I've dived into your course there a little bit and what you put together. And from what I've seen, I'm impressed. And obviously,
coming from you, because you've seen a lot of stuff. I appreciate it.
I just don't bring anybody on. So I was, when Closer Olympics happened, I was like, you know what? He's not that you weren't legit. I was like, he has something to offer.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to go out there. And I think it's good to see different fighting styles from different people. Right. Yeah. I think it's not, you don't have, you have RJ Bates has this real good shotgun blast type of personality, and it works though.
It works for him. For actual cash buyer, it works great.
It works for him. And, you have a very intelligent play and move, and I have a different way of approaching situations. So it's always good to bring people on that can show different strategies, but still come with the same outcome, which is to get what you want out of the property and to leave both you and the customer and the client happy and walking away with the best possible solution for both people.
Well, absolutely. And I think one of the reasons why I like, the style I have, so some of the people know, right? I used to be an engineer. I was a terrible salesperson. We all sell how we want to be sold. Mm-hmm. So I would walk in and I would say, Max, here are the comps, A, B, and C. Your house is worth 200. I could pay you 150. What do you want to do? Like, that's kind of my style, because if someone were to come to my house, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
Right. I'm an analytical and a driver, but man, that doesn't work. So the style we use is really catered for someone that is not naturally good at sales, because you got people that are charismatic. And sales is easy, right? And if sales is easy, then maybe this isn't for you. But if you're not good at sales, then this is something that we can give you a tool, or the tool belt, where you can apply all these together to increase your sales. Because the biggest thing for us is now when we don't get a sale, we can say where it went wrong.
Correct.
We can identify it specifically. Oh, you didn't establish the rules. You didn't tell him he wasn't allowed to think about it. Or you didn't go deep enough in the pain. You put yourself and your ego in the way of them and their pain and their solutions, right? Or you didn't ask to close the right way. You went too hard. You sounded like a car salesman. Yep. So now we can figure out where it went wrong, and now we can fix it. So for someone that's more analytical or is not naturally a salesperson, we can give them a system to sound like a professional without sounding salesy. And that's the big key. We don't ever want to sound salesy.
And that's interesting, because the reality is 90% of salespeople, or 90% of people suck at sales.
Oh, for sure. But they think they're great.
Yeah. And then the other 10% that think they're good don't close enough deals. They don't even know how many deals they're missing. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's where sales trainers, and you'd be surprised, people don't invest in themselves when it comes to sales. People think, oh, I naturally got the gift of gab. I know how to talk to people.
Which is, for me, is a red flag. You tell me you're a good talker, it's like, well, this guy's a terrible salesperson.
You got to be able to mix that with a lot of things. You got to be emotionally intelligent. You got to know, you got to read people. You got to know, like I said, you got to know when to jab. You got to know when to be soft. It's a lot of things that go in there. And those algorithms are always running as a proper salesperson.
Well, I like what you said earlier. You got to know when to admit defeat. I like that one. because there are people that waste a lot of time. And one of our things is trying to end the appointment unless you tell me you want to keep this going. The analogy I've used before is kind of like a strip club. Like, you got to tell me this has to keep going, right? That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I haven't been there either. Me neither.
But the part about admitting defeat and like leaving, because so many people are like trying to squeeze a deal out of somewhere that doesn't exist. And the way I've tried to explain to some people is like, if you are wasting 15 minutes on a dead lead, like a tire kicker or a time waster, and if you're wasting 15 minutes twice an hour, then you wasted half an hour and you've cut your hourly income in half. Spread out the year, you've reduced your potential by half. Because you didn't know when to admit defeat. So I think that's a great point that you touched on, but I think it's underappreciated. And
it's important. It's very important, man. Dude, I love this, and I don't want you to give away all the sauce. I mean, I know you still do it on Facebook. You have a Facebook group where you give away some of the sauce. And but I'm excited to hear some feedback from non-salespeople going through this sales program to understand how to get what they want and how to be comfortable. I think the main thing is to get people comfortable, right? When you get somebody comfortable and knowledgeable about what they can and can't do in the sales world, and be able to open your mind and listen to somebody else that is sales so you can see it through their lens, I think it's going to make people beautiful. And here's the thing, even if you're just starting in wholesaling and real estate, and you get this and you decide 6 months later that wholesaling is not for you, these same sales principles and same sales tactics can go all across any sales, no matter whether you're selling boats, cars, homes, or books. It's going to translate to all of those fields.
And you know where it's helped the most, where it's really surprising? It's helped me as a father, right? Because you can label the kids' emotions. You can have them bring the solutions out. Like, you sound frustrated. Tell me more about that. And they'll tell you. It's crazy.
You know how many people won't say that to a seller?
Yeah.
You sound kind of upset. Tell me what's going on.
Right. And they'll tell you.
They will tell you. And then they'll give you the solution in the middle of you telling them.
Exactly.
No, this is good, man. I'm going to probably get my team to watch more. I've had them watch some of the Closer Olympics, but I'm going to get them to watch your stuff as well too, because I think it's good not only, and I even know that even as a good salesperson, I know that there's nobody that's the best, period.
No.
Right? Even the best hostage negotiators in the world have lost people.
Yeah,
right?
Nobody bats 1,000.
Yeah, nobody bats 1,000. So I'm going to get them to watch some of your stuff as well, so they can mix and match some of the different principles and things that you and I have together and see how it goes. And just from the Closer Olympics, I've used some of your ways to handle objections and the way to go around it and the way to ask those bold questions that most people don't want to ask. And I think that's good. But I know your program is more than just telling people what to say. It's why you say it, the approach, the theory behind it, and the whole nine, and actually scenario based. So I think this is going to be great. I think everybody should get on it. Where can people find you? I know you got your Facebook group. I know you're active on Instagram, but I think your Facebook is probably, you like that better or something.
I like Facebook way better. Instagram, I'm there. But man, it's just, I don't know. Maybe because I'm older, right? I'm 40. So maybe that's why I like Facebook more.
40? Just stop that. I don't want to hear that.
I feel old. I roll out of bed sometimes. It's like,
I feel old sometimes, but I'm not 35.
Yeah. So Instagram, at steve.trang is the best way, or they can always check out the podcast, Real Estate Disruptors. And that's what was really fun, but people had no idea that I was in this business.
So let me give you some credit real quick. I'm glad you brought that up. So before, I was doing podcasts, was just screen side by side like this. And then I decided to build a studio, which I'm in now. And I have a couple podcast rooms. One of the podcast rooms is when I visited Steve in Arizona, went to his podcast, and I looked at where he was at. I was like, this is a dope setup. And I remember even getting the number of the producer of the show, the guy that was behind the scenes running the thing. And I was like, I'm going to call you and I want to know exactly what you have. So, we got so if you look at the room that Steve's in and I'm in, that's where I got my inspiration from, just to do that. And then everybody has came and visited my facility and started doing something similar. But yeah, man. So thanks to you is how I built out my podcast room.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we took a chance and it paid off. But man, Could have been totally wrong.
No, man, it was awesome, man. It was good. So tell us where. I see you got the link down there below. Tell us what they can expect when they go there.
Yeah, so when you go there, you're going to have the option to purchase our course, right? It's not cheap, it's $2,000, but I guarantee you that $2,000 you'll make it back in less than a month. 5 times that in a month, right? So, but you go there, you go to check it out, and then you'll get the link. It's teachable, and it's just 12 weeks. And not only is it we have a 12-week course, but I'm constantly updating it, right? As I get better and I record more content, I say, okay, this is better. You'll have lifetime access to the latest and greatest. Because I'm always, like we said earlier, I'm always investing in myself, and that will never stop.
Do you have any live calls in there as well? Recorded calls?
We don't have any right now, but we're actually in the process, so we'll put those in there. Yeah. We're actually in the process of pulling out some of the victories, but some of the other ones were like, man, I cannot believe you said that. I know I've trained you better than that. So we're gonna put those in there too, because our guys still make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna put those in there too.
I appreciate it, Steve. This has been great. I'm definitely gonna have you as soon as COVID lifts. Come see the studio. Come do one, and we'll.
I can't wait, man.
I'll show the office and everything, and then we'll rock it out, man. Make sure you guys go to disruptors.com/Max. Get that. You won't be disappointed. Tell me how it is when you get it and go through that 12-week program. And like always, man, I always bring solid people on that I know are real, that I know get this done. So Steve is no exception. So Steve, appreciate you coming on, man. Any last?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, the last words I would say is just go out there, man. You control your destiny. 100%. 100%. Make it happen for you. There's no reason not to.
From engineer to having a broker, trying to get 200 agents and battling very fiercely out there in the guru land of the Phoenix, and you're holding your own, man. So congrats.
Guru capital of the world, man.
Yeah, congrats to all your success. Tell
you so much.
Hello, be safe, and I'll see you in person soon.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's it, guys. So that's the podcast. I'll see you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Also, give me a rating on wherever you listen to podcasts, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.